Matovu.
Matovu. Matovu. Ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu. Matovu. Ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha u'mekom mishkan kevodecha mishkan kevodecha. Last time, Matovu.
Matovu. Matovu. Ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu. Matovu. Ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Good morning, everyone. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
I'm Rabbi Joel Nickerson,
I'm Cantor Lisa Peicott.
and it's wonderful. Whether it's the timing at 10:30 that brought you here, whether it's the friend, whatever it is, we're really happy to celebrate Rosh Hashanah with you today. I want to explain a little bit about the name of this service because some people saw it in the program for the holidays. They're like, what the heck is this? Koleinu means our voice. One of the most important things that Cantor Peicott and I have been talking about as we were framing the service is that the high holidays and any prayer experience for that matter is not supposed to be a passive experience. It is not your job to just sit there and let us perform for you. The whole idea of the services today, the high holidays, and even on Shabbat, because we're doing a Shabbat version of this once a month, this is about interactive inclusion. This is about not just us being up here, but how do we all bring our voices into this experience? Sometimes that is going to be you singing along, as we've already done. There are going to be times where we're going to maybe actually come out to you and get your input and your thoughts on some of the prayers. Don't worry, you can't get it wrong. There are going to be times over the course of this year and beyond where your voice is going to impact the choices that we make in terms of the music we choose, the subject matter. We want this to be co-ownership. This is not just Cantor Peicott and I and this incredible band coming up with this on our own. We want you to create this with us. Now, there are children here which I love, and their voices sometimes we will hear as well. We want this to be a place that is inclusive of everyone, but we also know that there are going to be times where we're going to have more contemplative moments in the service. There are going to be times when we're standing up and dancing. If you or a child or even an adult is in a different mind space or is in a different zone than whatever zone we're in, just take a moment, go outside, get some water, and then come back in when you're ready. No judgment here. We want this to be inclusive, but we also want this to be a place where everyone has a place to be focused on what's important to them today. So before we go any further, if we're going to spend the next couple hours together, you should know with whom you are praying and hanging out with. So turn to the people near you, but I don't want you to just say your name. That's not enough. Say your name and one thing you're hoping for yourself or your family or the world in this coming year. One thing that you are hoping for yourself, for your family, or for your world. I'm putting you to work already. Introduce yourselves. All right, we'll schmooze some more after services. I'm glad you're sharing all your hopes. We're going to move now back into the service. This is what all services should be, right? Just people schmoozing with one another. Schmooze all day. We'll be here. Okay. Page 122. I want to point out something for this prayer book. I love it. I love it. The people in the front can hear me. That's all that matters. You guys pay attention. Page 122. Page 122. This machzor, if you've ever been in the main sanctuary, if you notice, this is different. This is a few years old. I want you to get lost in this machzor. Do not feel like you need to follow along exactly what we're doing. If you find something on the right side of the page or the left side of the page or something in there's some sections there in blue that can take you more in depth into a prayer. It's fine to get lost. You can always come back to where we are whenever you want. So make sure that you find your own way into this service, and there might be one word that sticks out to you that you just want to spend the whole service just focusing on that word. That is fine. But this prayer book, the reason we're using it is because it has many avenues. Just like Judaism, we all are in this room, but we all have our different ways of connecting, so we want you to find your own way of connecting. So we'll continue with Elohai Neshama, in which we ask God to return our souls to us today.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorai. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi
Turning to page 128. This is a section called the Nisim B'chol Yom, coming from the word nes, meaning miracle. Our tradition had its own set of miracles that were supposed to stay every day from the time we open up our eyes till we put on our clothes. We're going to do some of the traditional ones, but in between those traditional blessings, I want us to share some of our own miracles. So we're going to start on page 128. We're going to chant the first one in Hebrew. If you have a miracle, because this is all about every single day we should be witnessing the miracles around us or in our lives. If there's a miracle that you have experienced recently in your own life or you've seen around you and you want to share that with us, you raise your hand. I'm going to come around with the mic and you'll share that miracle with us. All right? Let's begin.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Who's got a miracle? No miracles? Come on now. Don't be nervous. Oh, right. Great. Stand up, say your name, and what's the miracle?
Karen Feinstein, the miracle of my 2 grandchildren.
Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorin.
Nice and loud, since I can't get the mic to you. Your name and what's the miracle? What's your name? Amen to that. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Stand on up. Say your name and the miracle.
Hello, my name is Evan, and my miracle is coming to life.
Amen to that.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה.
Stand up so we can see.
My name is Dorothy, and my miracle is my mom.
Major points for that one.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בתפארה.
One last one. Who has a miracle to share? Stand up, way in the back. Your name and the miracle. Self-love. Amen to that.
Amen. We continue on the top of page 130 with the Baruch She'amar. Follow along as best as you can. We're also going to do it as a nigun at the end so everyone can be included. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch hu, Baruch oseh bereshit. Baruch gozer u'mekayem.
ברוך עוזר ומקיים, ברוך מרחם על הארץ,
Baruch merachem al habriot. Baruch meshalem sachar tov nireav. Baruch chai la'ad v'kayam lanetzach. Baruch podeh u'matzil. Baruch shemo lai 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 ya la lai la 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 lai
יא לה ליי, לה 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 ליי, יא לה ליי, לה לה ליי, לה לה ליי ליי,
ya la lai ya la lai ya la 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 lai ya la lai la la lai ya la 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 lai ya lai ya la 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 lai ya la lai la lai 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 ya lai la lai la la lai 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 lai. We join in the words of hallelujah. We praise God in many different ways. We praise with our voices. We praise with instruments. We praise with movement. So this involves you guys. The words are hallelujah. Let's try that.
Hallelujah.
And those are everything you need to know.
Page 135.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
הללו אל בקודשו, הללו ברכיהו זו, הללו בגבורותיו,
Hallelujah, Gerot Uzo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
הללו בתיק השופר, הללו בנבל וחידון, הללו בתוך גוף מחור,
Hallelujah, מבינים לעוגה. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
הללו בציץ להישמע, הללו בציץ לתרועה, כל הנשמה תהלליה.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Page 138.
המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא, שוכן עד מהרו וקדוש שמו, וכתוב לצדיקים אדוני, לישרים נאווה תהילה.
Eternally present, your name is hallowed on high, and the psalmist sang, Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous, let the upright adorn you with praise.
בפי ישרים תתרומם, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתקדש, ובקרב קדושים תתעלה. We are about to rise for the Barhu, but I wanted to point out that the melody that you entered in, the nigun that we all know that we sing for Rosh Hashanah and for Yom Kippur, that is a specific melody that we do just for these high holy days. We don't hear them any other time of year except for during Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And they come to us, they're called Sinai melodies, and they're actually melodies that come to us from between the 12th and 15th centuries of the Rhineland of Germany. So by us singing these melodies together, even though sometimes they sound a little bit different than what we're used to, we're connecting that chain of Jewish tradition through the music that it is that we sing. And so with that, we're going to rise on page 142 for our call to prayer, the Barhu. Lai, 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 lai.
Be seated. The Hebrew in the middle of 142. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshech osei shalom uvorei et hakol or olam botzar chaim orot me'ofel amar vayi. If there are any B'nai Mitzvah students from this last year and you want to help us lead Ve'ahavta, we'll go even back 2 years. So the last 2 years, if you became Bar Bat Mitzvah in the last 2 years, come on up, because you're gonna, in a minute, you're gonna help us lead the Ve'ahavta, so you can come and sit in the front row. Be brave. We're starting a new year. Time to be brave. We continue with Ahava Rabbah, page 146.
Ahava Rabbah Haftanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gedola V'Tera Chamata Aleinu Ba'avur Avotenu Ve'imotenu Shebatchu Becha
We take a deep breath. We close our eyes, focus ourselves for Shema.
Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Page 152, all our recent B'nai Mitzvah, come on up. Share your name so we know who you are. Come on up here. Name, pass it around.
Nate Arnold,
Skylar Grace,
Abby Fischler,
Brooke Friedman, Dashel Silverton,
Whitney Enenstein,
Jordan Ellis.
Take it away, y'all.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's give it up for 13 and 14-year-olds being here at services. Hopefully there is some free will associated with their presence here this morning. We're going to continue with Micha Mocha. It's on 164. Never mind, not yet.
Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, only love, with all your soul. Listen to the wisdom inside and around you. You will remember as you're walking through the day. Make this world a better place. Children will learn, and their future will be love. Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, only love, with all your We now continue with Mi Chamocha. This is the song of the Israelites' freedom, the song of our redemption as we cross the sea. And it's very fitting because we're all about to cross kind of a sea ourselves. We've hopefully all been preparing the work that it is that we're supposed to do for Elul as we cross the threshold into a new year, into new beginnings and a new fresh start for all of us. So this Mi Chamocha can be extremely meaningful in this moment. It's always in our services, but particularly for this morning, as we're all about to have our new start. We don't know what the new year will hold for all of us, but we have that leap of faith that it will be as beautiful and meaningful as we hope it to be. So please join us in Mi Chamocha, page 164.
Got to get up for this one. Stand up. Everyone, we're going to stand up. This is where you're going to move your body. We all need every once in a while to shake it out a little.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha bedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oh tefele, nora tehilot, oh tefele. Feel free to move your bodies. This is the song of our freedom as we move towards a new year. Prayer is meant to be experienced. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha bedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oh tefele, nora tehilot, oh tefele.
That was a little abrupt. Can take a seat for a minute. There's a Hasidic tale about this man, and he had been wandering in the forest for several days, not figuring out any way out of that forest. He didn't know which way was out. And suddenly he saw someone approaching him, and he was filled with inspiration. He said, "Sir, I am so glad I found you. Now I'm going to be able to get my way out of this forest. I've been lost for days. I have no idea where to go." And the man said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." And the man said, "What are you talking about? I'm hoping you can help me get out of here." And the man said, "I'm sorry, I've been wandering for days too. I have no way to get out of here either. But I can tell you this, don't go the way that I came, because then you'll definitely get lost." So the rabbis tell this story to get us prepared for this next prayer, the Amidah, because we have been lost, not only for this last year, but even potentially since we woke up this morning. We all are trying to find our way. And we are also, if any of us are parents or grandparents or we have nieces or nephews, we are also having that pressure on ourselves to guide others. So this moment when we stand for the Amidah is our opportunity to start to find some of that guidance for ourselves. How can we begin to find our way out of that forest, away from being lost, to finding ourselves, going through that process of tshuva. So we're going to begin the Amidah, and when you are ready to stand up, when you are ready to move into a different space, that's when you can stand for the Amidah. It begins on page 166.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'yavo Zochreinu Lechayim Melech Chafetz B'Chayim V'chodveinu B'Sefer HaChayim Lema'ancha Elohim Chayim Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Amen. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Novlim Berov Becholim Umatir Asurim אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל.
You may be seated. According to the Unatana Tokef prayer, which is the next prayer we are going to recite, how we respond to a loss or a tragedy or an unexpected act affects the entire world. There's an interpretation of the Unatana Tokef that I want to share. It was written by my teacher, Rabbi Richard Levy, blessed memory, who passed away this past year. And I want to read it as an introduction for us today. We shall affirm the mighty holiness of this day, a day of awe and dread, for upon it is God's rule exalted and the holy throne established in covenantal love. When we really begin a new year, it is decided, and when we actually repent, it is determined. Who shall be truly alive, and who shall merely exist? Who shall be tormented by the fire of ambition, and whose hopes shall be quenched by the waters of failure? Who shall be pierced by the sharp sword of envy, and who shall be torn by the wild beast of resentment? Who shall hunger for companionship, and who shall thirst for approval? Who shall be shattered by the storms of change, and who shall be plagued by the pressures of conformity? Who shall be strangled by insecurity, and who shall be beaten into submission? Who shall be content with their lot, and who shall go wandering in search of satisfaction? Who shall be serene, and who shall be distraught? But tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah, repentance, prayer, and just action have the power to change the characters of our lives. Therefore, let us repent, pray, and do right, so that this may be a genuinely new year of life. We continue, page 174. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise of your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth.
Emet ki ata hu dayan u'mochiach ve'yodei avad ve'chotim ve'sofer u'moneh ve'tizkor kol hanishkachot ve'tiftach et sefer hazichronot ve'tiftach et sefer hazichronot u'me'elav yikareh ve'chotam yad kol adam bo.
Page 176. And so great shofar will cry to Kiyah, a still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments.
Before we continue with the Rosh Hashanah prayer, this is probably one of the most serious moments within our High Holy Day liturgy. The words of who will live and who will die can be extremely scary and overwhelming for a lot of us. But I encourage you that as we sing this prayer, to really think about all of the ways that we can affirm life. None of us know what tomorrow holds. All we know is that we get exactly 84,600 seconds every single day to make the best of what it is that we can do, to be the best people that we can do, to love our families the way we do, to reach out to the strangers, that each time, each day that we're given is a blessing. And we don't know what tomorrow holds, but by the work that we do during this Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur season, that we remember that it's our responsibility to make each and every second count. So this is a mashup of a traditional, one of the many traditional refrains for Rosh Hashanah, and we've mixed it with the words of the great poet and songwriter Leonard Cohen's Who by Fire. Rosh Hashanah yikatevun ubeyom Som Kippur ubeyom Som Kippur yechatemun ubeyom Som Kippur ubeyom Som Kippur yechatemun. By fire, by water, in the sunshine, in the nighttime, by high ordeal, by common trial. Merry, merry month of May, by very slow decay, and who shall I say is calling the Rosh Hashanah? And who in her lonely slip, who by barbiturates, who in these realms of love, who by something blunt, who by avalanche, who by powder, who for his greed, who for his hunger, and who shall I say is calling? Rosh Hashanah yikatevun ubeyom Som Kippur ubeyom everybody. Rosh Hashanah, Peicott, Ubeyom Som Kippur, Ubeyom Som Kippur, Yehateimu, Ubeyom Som Kippur, Ubeyom Som Kippur,
On the top of page 180, let's read that little paragraph together in English. But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree.
ותשובה ותפילה וצדקה מעבירים את רוח הגזירה.
Continue with the Kedusha. It begins on page 184. Please rise.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרז אל זה ויאמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם. אלוהי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with our own silent prayer, either with the Machzor through page 218 or your own silent reflection, and then you may be seated whenever you are done.
Ojavo shalom aleinu.
Ojavo shalom aleinu.
Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Salam shalom. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu. Ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
We continue with Avinu Malkeinu on page 223. Please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu, Ki ein banu ma'asim. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Koleinu.
Together, Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu chamol aleinu ve'alul aleinu v'tapeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu kalei dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
אבינו מלכנו קלה כל צר ומסתיר מעלינו.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
אבינו מלכנו כותבנו בספר חיים טובים.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
אבינו מלכנו חדש עלינו שנה טובה.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו. אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים.
Remain standing, please.
At this moment, we'd like to invite anyone who's associated with the Torah service, our Torah holders, our Torah readers, our Haftorah readers to come join us on the Bima as we prepare to begin our Torah service.
Torah service begins page 227.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אב הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות עוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה.
Page 228.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Benora Shemo, Gadol Adonai Itzi, Uneromema Shemo Yachtav. Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki chol b'shamayim uvaret Ki chol b'shamayim uvaret Lecha Adonai hamamlacha V'hamitnatzeh lechol lerot Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Lehar kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Lehar kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Lehar kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki Romemu Al Shosha Devarim Al Shosha Devarim Al Shosha Devarim Haolam omed Al Shosha Devarim Al Shosha Devarim Al Shosha Devarim Haolam omed Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Rosh Hashanah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah
All right, you may sit down. Lizzie Weiss. Is Lizzie Weiss here from the Karsh Center? Lizzie Weiss, come on up. I want to introduce you all to Lizzie Weiss. She's the Associate Director of Volunteer Engagement at the Karsh Center. I didn't know if she was going to be here, but she wrote this beautiful little piece. It's related to one of the first words we find in this week's Torah portion, in this Torah portion that we're going to read today, the word hineni. So instead of me reading it, you read it.
Thanks. Good morning. Good? Yep. All right. At the Karsh Center, we know that the first step to helping any neighbor in need is the simple yet powerful act of showing up. Being there for and with another human being and seeing them. Honoring them by listening with an open mind and heart and not turning away when so many might. Whether it's volunteering at our food pantry or at a Karsh Center legal clinic or a special event like the Big Give, we know that the act of intended service is only part of the equation. Being there with one another as an advocate or ally, showing up, reminding each other that we are not alone. Hineni is where the magic happens. Reminding us of both the strengths of our different experiences and the sameness of our humanity.
If you want to learn more about the Karsh Center, find Lizzie afterwards. There are other people involved here. We're very lucky to have the Karsh Center as part of our community. It's really a privilege to have Lizzie leading the way for all of us who want to volunteer to get involved. So you can find Lizzie afterwards. Thank you. In a minute, we are going to begin chanting from one of the most disturbing stories on page 240. It's a very disturbing story. A lot of different interpretations, but one thing that I want to point out today, I've always been struck by how challenging it must have been for Abraham to hear from God that he has to sacrifice his son, and then he goes out and he takes his son without his son even knowing, and they go up to this mountaintop and he's about to sacrifice his son. But is that the most challenging part of this story? Is the most challenging part knowing that he's about to sacrifice his son? Is it when he lifted the knife to actually do it? What was the most challenging part? Now, the rabbis actually talk about the fact that maybe the most challenging part is related to one sentence that we find in the portion, which says, Abraham then returned to his servants, and they departed together for Beersheba, and Abraham stayed in Beersheba. Seems like a throwaway sentence. But what's the depth of this purpose, of this sentence, is that we don't know what it was like for him when he came down the mountain. A lot of times we focus on what it means to start to go through a challenging experience. We don't focus as much on the other side. What does it mean to go through that experience, and how do we recover from that? This is a story not just about testing Abraham's faith. This is a story about what does it mean for each of us to come down that mountain after a challenging experience in our life. Who are the people who are going to support us? In this case, Abraham was left alone in Beersheba. And in the beginning of the next Torah portion, which comes right after this, his wife dies right away. This is a man who comes down from probably one of the most tragic and infuriating, and I can't even imagine what this must have been like for him and his son, and he is alone. How do we make sure that we and the people we care about, when they are coming down that mountain, are not alone? That, I think, is a really important lesson from this story. We are going to do some group aliyot today. That means that you all have the chance to get close to Torah. And we're going to be doing that related to a couple of themes. So I'm going to list the 3 aliyot out so you can think about, that's the one that I want to come up for. And then we'll start chanting Torah. The first aliyah, anyone who feels like they successfully addressed a challenge or test over this past year can come up here to be close to the Torah for an aliyah. For the second aliyah, anyone who's looking forward to engaging in a new journey in the upcoming year. And then finally, the third aliyah, someone, if you are feeling like you really want that strength when you're coming down the mountain this year. So those are the 3 aliyot. The first one, you've addressed a challenge or test in this past year, and you feel like you did something, you nailed it. The second one, you're looking forward to engaging in a new journey this upcoming year. And finally, those who feel like they need a little support as they're coming down the mountain. So, for the first Aliyah, anyone who's feeling like they successfully addressed a challenge and they want to come up here and help make an Aliyah, come on down, be brave. You've already addressed the challenge, so you know this is a piece of cake. You've already made it to the other side. If you want to follow along, also, the Torah portion begins on page 240.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi ahar hadevarim ha'ele v'ha'im nisa et Avraham. Omer helav Avraham ayomer hineni vayomer yasna et bincha et yechidcha asher ahavta et Yitzhak v'lech lecha el eretz hamoria v'halehu sham leolam el al ashar hecharim asher omar elecha vayeshem Avraham baboker vayachavosh et hamoro v'rikah Gatchenei v'harav ito v'elhel Isaac beno v'yasaka Eitzelam Yakom v'yele et hakom v'yamor lo ham Elohim v'yakom Aishi v'yisach Taham v'yitav v'yisach makom v'yilchok v'yagomer kakam v'av shehalachov etnachamo yatani yallah yallah asro v'nashlaha v'nashuva alehem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
Amen. Anyone willing to share the challenge or test that they overcame this year? Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Sawyer, and this in April of this year, I had my bar mitzvah, and yeah.
Awesome. Any others?
My name is Elijah. I conquered the icy. I'm Lenny Rosenblatt. My wife spoke about her father passing away and bringing her mother into my house. Well, that was a tough challenge for me. To have my mother-in-law live with me, wow, I'll tell you.
Well, to all of you who overcame challenges this past year, Mazal Tov for continuing to move through those challenges. May you have the strength for future challenges that you had to get through those challenges in this past year. And thank you for coming up for Torah. Thank you. For the second Aliyah, those who are looking forward to engaging in a new journey in this upcoming year, come on up. Journey physically or emotionally, spiritually, whatever kind of journey you are looking forward to, come on down. Wow, look at all these people getting excited for new journeys this year. All right. Amazing. Thank you all for being here. Join together and lead us in the Aliyah blessing, please. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
אמן. ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת וילכו שניהם יחדיו ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אביו ויאמר הנני בני ויאמר הנה האש והעצים ויעשה לעולה ויאמר אברהם אלוהים יראה לא עשה לעולה בני וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
Amen. I just want to draw everyone's attention because you had a unique opportunity to hear Jerusalem trope. It sounded a little bit different from the first one. The first one was Ashkenazic trope, but Pini Rahab so beautifully chanted that in the Jerusalem style medley, so I just wanted to draw attention. And I also wanted to thank our first Torah reader, Thomas Schneider.
Wonderful. All right, lots of journeys that people are going on. Who wants to share what kind of journey they're starting this year? Yeah.
Looking for a new school.
Looking for a new school. Good luck with that. Yes. Oh, come on over here, Julia. This is my wife, Julia.
Our new journey at Wilshire Boulevard Temple.
All right. Good. Yes, your name and what's your journey?
I'm Benjamin, and my journey is middle school.
That's one of the toughest journeys that exists out there, so yes. Any others? Yeah.
Starting college.
Mazel tov. Where are you going to go?
USC.
Congratulations. Yes.
Starting middle school.
Yeah. Anyone else? No. Last one.
I started a new school.
Congratulations. Blessing to all of you going on new journeys this year. May you be strengthened by your friends and family who will guide with you and journey alongside you so that you are never alone in the new beginnings and new journeys that you are undertaking. So mazal tov to all of you. Thank you very much. All right, our final aliyah. Those who are looking for strength as they come down the mountain. If you are looking for some strength this coming year, please come on up for an aliyah.
Adonai Tzuri Vegoali Goali Leratzon Imefi Vegion Libi Lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Adonai Tzuri Vegoali Vegoali.
All right, we'll have the blessing. We are on verse 9, chapter 22, verse 9, if you want to follow along in the Hebrew. But let's join together in the blessing before. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayavohu el hamakom asher amar lo ha'Elohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach vayaroch et ha'etzim vayakod et Yitzhak bano vayisam oto al hamizbeach mimala etzim vayishlach Avraham et yado vayikach et Hama'achelet lishchot et bano vayikra alav malach Adonai min hashamayim vayomer Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer al tishlach yadcha el hana'ar ve'al ta'as lo me'uma ki ata yadati Ki arei Elohim ata velo chasachta et bincha et yechidcha mimeni. Vayisa Avraham et einav. Vayer vahine ayil achar. Ne'echaz basvach bekarnav. Vayelech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayil. Vaya'alehu le'olah tachat bano. Vayikra Avraham Shem hamakom hahu Adonai yireh. Asher yomer hayom Bahar Adonai Yera'eh.
The blessing after, it's on the other side of the page. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. You're all up here because you're looking for strength to come down the mountain. Anyone willing to share about why you are up here today?
My name is David. I moved my family from New York to California. We're at the top of the mountain, and I grant us all strength to deal with the change.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Evan, and this past year I lost my dog.
Sorry for your loss. Anyone?
My name's Antoinette Tabibi. This is Valentina. Say hi. We lost my father this year, 6 months ago, and we've just been dealing with that. And
my name is Dana, and I have lost several friends in the last couple years, and moving on from that is really hard. Continuing challenge.
We lost our dog this year.
I lost my dear father this year, and it's just difficult to be without him because he was ever present in everyone's life. And it's difficult to deal with family when it all changes, when your patriarch is gone. So I need strength.
Well, we send strength to all of you, and the importance of you coming up here is a sign that all of you out here have a responsibility to take care of these people, because we're not supposed to come down that mountain alone. And I hope that you know that this community and myself and the Cantor and the people who work here are here to support you in whatever challenges you may face, and to know that you have a community behind you to love you and care for you. So wishing you strength as you come down the mountain. Amen. Thank you. Especially given that last Aliyah, we're going to take a moment now while the Torah is out to offer a Misha Berach. If you'd like to follow along, I don't remember what page it's on, but you can just sing along if you know it. We're going to begin together, and then we're going to pause in between the two verses. And if you're thinking of someone who is in need of healing, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual, I'd like you to stand up and shout out that name as my hand comes across the room so we can send prayers of strength their way. 245, page 245.
Wilshire Boulevard, Avoteinu, Mekor habracha. Ones before us,
name, please stand up, and as my hand comes across the room, please say it loudly so we can hear it. Any others? Yeah. Send strength and prayers their way.
Misheberach limotenu mekod habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This time we are going to lift and dress the Torah before Haftorah, so if you could all please rise at this time.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה.
You may be seated. Our Haftarah for this morning is found in the back of your Machzor on page 340. I'd like to call up Gavin and Michelle Vogel, who are going to chant for us the Haftarah. The blessing before the Haftarah can be found on page 247. And this Haftarah comes to us from the prophet Nehemiah, who is witnessing a Rosh Hashanah service. And this is post-exile, as the Jews are just starting to come back into the land, into the kingdom. And there's an immense sense of mourning and sadness amongst the Jewish people. And Nehemiah and the scribe Ezra speak out and they say, no, you must be joyous, even though of what you've gone for in the past, what you've gone through, that it's these moments of joy when we all come together is where a renewed sense of our Jewish commitment comes from. So we're going to start with the blessings before on page 247. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim veratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet.
Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah uveMoshe avdo uveYisrael amo uvinviei ha'emet v'tzedek.
We're on page 340.
Vayasvu kol ha'am ke'ish echad el ha'archov asher lifnei sha'ar hamayim vayomeru le'ezra hasofer lehavi et sofer Torat Moshe Asher Tziva Adonai El Yisrael Vayavi Ezra HaKohen Et HaTorah Lifnei Kol Ha'al Me'ish Ve'ad Isha V'chol mevin lishmoa beyom echad lachadosh hashvi.
Vayikravo lifnei harchot asher lifnei sha'ar hamayim min ha'or ad machazit hayom neged ha'anashim ve'anashim ve'hamvinim ve'znei kol ha'am el sefer ha'torah vaya'amon Ezra hasofer al migdal eitz asher asu lidvar vaya'amon etzlo matitya v'shema va'anaya ve'uriah ve'chilkiah Uma'aseyau al yamino, umismolo, Pedaya, umishael, umalkiah, v'chashum v'chasad badana, Zechariah meshluam, Vayiftach Ezra ha'sefer, le'enei kol ha'am, Ki me'al kol ha'am haya ufitcho amdu kol ha'am.
Yasher Koach. We're going to join together in the blessings after the Haftarah found on page 259. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol haolamim Sadik bechol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום הזיכרון הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד, ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, ויום הזיכרון.
We turn to page 276 and rise as we return the Torah to the ark.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לימו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לפני ישראל עם קרובו. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
You may be seated.
You got that kiss on the microphone. That's how the love.
Whether or not to take a job at Wilshire Boulevard Temple was a huge decision. I'd been working at Temple Isaiah for 8 years, and before that, I had worked at the University of Pennsylvania Hillel for 2 years. Go Penn, people. So before accepting this job, I did a lot of soul searching. I did some serious digging and due diligence into the inner workings of this place. And I spent many hours with Julia discussing our lives, our priorities, our children, and our dreams. And the transition has come, as you can imagine, with logistical and emotional changes. Instead of all 3 of our children being at the same school as they were, we now have 2 at Browerman, and they're adjusting wonderfully, and 1 elsewhere. And like all families, as our children are getting older, the activities change and grow in intensity. And therefore, Julie and I have a new Sunday night routine where we take out our computers and we go through the week's schedule. It's like the color-coded madness looks like a rainbow on our screens. And I've started getting up early at 5:45 most mornings so I can get a little exercise in. And I've even started building in a little time, just a little bit of time each week for myself. No agenda, no plans. But it doesn't take a new job, as we know, to feel overwhelmed. Everyone I know is trying to balance more than they can handle. We're overwhelmed by our to-do list. We're more stressed than calm, more chaotic than at peace, more anxious than contemplative. Life can feel more frustrating than fun. And the rabbis of old, they also had trouble balancing their lives. The study of Torah, the needs of their ever-expanding families, the fact that most of them actually had other jobs in addition to being a rabbi. It would be as if the clergy at Wilshire Boulevard Temple also worked at Home Depot, or served as doctors in the hospital, or ran a business, or oversaw a farm operation. That's what they were doing with their lives. And it all made life hectic as it is now. And yet somehow, those ancient rabbis managed to live spiritual lives in ways that are elusive to so many of us. So how did they do that? If you want the ultimate guide to this essentialist lifestyle, a life where you can focus on what matters and not succumb to the unending tug of distractions and detractors all you need to do is ask 4 simple questions. There are questions that the ancient rabbis asked themselves, and they imagined that they and we are asked these 4 questions at the gates of heaven. And it was their attempt to narrow down all the responsibilities and all the expectations into one concise guide for a meaningful life. And when I think about my own life and how I try to shape the decisions that I make, the values that I hope to live by and to teach my children, and the strategies that I want to utilize to determine my priorities, I find that these 4 questions are the most helpful of all. So according to the rabbis, the first question we are asked when we get to heaven is, did you set aside time for learning Torah? Now, I have to admit, I think Torah study has a branding problem. People think it either requires a strong background in Hebrew or theology or Jewish history, or that it's only for those who live religious lives, the Orthodox community, the rabbis, the people who find ancient texts alluring. But remember that the translation of the word Torah is teaching. The Torah is really our tradition's way of creating a value system based on stories and ideas and concepts to inform our everyday decision-making, not decisions that were being made thousands of years ago, but decisions that are being made by us today. So when I think about Pharaoh, and when I study the stories of Moses and King David, it actually helps me to understand and digest the politics of today, because the complexities and frustrations that so many of us feel, regardless of our political leanings, have played out before. And we can turn the stories of our tradition to help us understand how to engage in the conversation today. And if you want to figure out strategies so that you can unplug and just let go of those emails, really all it takes is spending a little time studying the laws around Shabbat in our tradition. When I read the Song of Songs, which is our tradition's love poetry, I'm reminded of how I'm supposed to show my love to my wife, Julia. And then when I'm dealing with some of the extended family drama, all I have to do is go read the stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. I feel so much better about my own life. When I think about all the issues that we are facing as a nation and a world, I'm reminded of the Torah's ethical mandate to love the stranger, to be generous with the poor, to pursue justice. When you take time to learn Torah, you start to see the world on a much deeper level. And this year, I want to study Torah with all of you. So after the holidays, you're going to get an email from me, now that we have your information, because you scanned in here. We won't spam you, I promise. But you're going to get an invitation. You can sign up. I will treat you to a cup of coffee near this campus, the other campus. We'll sit down, we'll study a little Torah together. I'm telling you, it's worth it. I hope you will take me up on it. So if you remember, the first question we are asked, did you set aside time to study Torah? The second question that the rabbis imagined we are asked is, did you devote yourself to family? And the literal translation alludes to your family being your occupation. In other words, did you make your family your occupation, your job? Many of us work outside the home. But the most important job in our life is our family. When I sit down with a family and I am helping them to prepare to bury a loved one, the conversation centers on those meaningful memories and the poignant stories of that loved one's life. But woven into that tapestry of deep sadness and loss is a shining love and happiness that emerges as they reminisce about the family vacations, the odd quirks, the inside jokes, the things they learned from their loved one and when that person was interacting with family and friends. I have never had a family tell me that they wished their loved one had spent more time at work and less time with them. Never. I grew up playing baseball and football all throughout high school. My parents got divorced when I was pretty young, and my dad at some points was living overseas or in another city. Yet there was always someone from my family at my games, and there were a lot of games. My wife forwarded me an article recently about attending children's sports games, and the author wrote, "I don't remember a lot of the birthday gifts I got growing up or cookies I ate before dinner, but I vividly remember my mom and dad in their work suits and jackets walking into every game I ever played. Showing up and being present for our family does more than we could ever really appreciate. And it is the foundation of any meaningful legacy that we want to leave." Did you set aside time to study Torah? Did you devote yourself to family? And the third question, were you honest in business? Now, our work is not supposed to be our life and define our life, and yet, when we get to heaven, we're going to be asked about our work. Because the question, were you honest in business, actually is not about our work at all. It's a question about our ethics, our value system, how we treat other people, how we spend our money, how we define success for ourselves and our family. The Haftorah that we are going to be reading next week during Yom Kippur talks all about this. It's a passage from the prophet Isaiah in which God talks about people crying out and wondering why their prayers are not being answered, even though they are going through the motions and fasting and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And God reminds them and us that going through the motions isn't good enough. Because on your fast day you see to your business and oppress all your laborers, says Isaiah. Is such the fast I desire? A day for men to starve their bodies? No, this is the fast I desire. To unlock the fetters of wickedness, to let the oppressed go free, to share your bread with the hungry, and to take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, to clothe him, and not to ignore your own kin. When we do these things, that's when we'll start to see things change in our life and in the world around us. The final question that the rabbis say we will be asked is, did you anticipate redemption? Now, traditionally, this is a question about the Messiah. Do you believe in the Messiah in the Messianic era? But I see this as a question about hope. Did you live with hope? It's hard to have hope when we are feeling swamped 24/7. When we see and we read about the devastation here and around the world, when we think about all of our unrealized goals, how many things are still left on our to-do list. And sometimes it's hard to have hope when we don't have enough in the bank or enough energy at the end of the day. It's very tempting to become cynical and skeptical, and that skepticism, it's built into our Jewish DNA. I mean, we've suffered a lot throughout our history, but Jews have also always relied on hope. I don't know if you remember the reason why the Israelites have to wander in the desert for 40 years. The distance between Egypt and Israel does not warrant such a schlep. Our ancestors were forced to wait because God sent Moses. He said, Moses, send 12 scouts into this land of milk and honey and report on what you see. And they come back and they offer a very grim picture of this land of milk and honey. It's a place inhabited by giants, 10 of them say. So big and scary that we must have looked like grasshoppers compared to them. And this causes the entire Israelite community to totally freak out, crying out to Moses, saying, we should just go back to Egypt and forget this whole journey. It was much better just to be slaves. We should have just died there in Egypt. How many times do we feel like the journey to our own promised lands of milk and honey are just too overwhelming? The obstacles, too huge. We're nothing but tiny, and we're weak, and we're inadequate. We can't get that job or that promotion. Our relationship with our partner, it's too damaged to repair. Our child is just too complicated for us to be able to help them. Our finances, they're so all over the place, there's just no way we can ever get back in the black. Only 2 of those scouts, Caleb and Joshua, offer a hopeful account of this new land promised by God. Have no fear, they say. It is a good land, and God will protect us. Unfortunately, the majority of the Israelites, did not share in Joshua and Caleb's hopes. And as a result, God demanded that an entire generation wander in the desert before they can enter, because a mentality of hopelessness and smallness has no place in our promised lands. And so we wander until hopelessness becomes hope, until hopelessness is transformed into optimism for what the future can hold. In 10 days, on Yom Kippur, we are supposed to imagine our own deaths. And so that we can do the important work to change our lives now. It's not supposed to be next year. It's not supposed to be when it's convenient. We are to imagine ourselves standing before those gates of heaven, prepared to answer questions about whether or not we are willing to lead a meaningful life. Did you set aside time to study Torah? Did you devote yourself to family? Were you honest in business? And do you have hope? How are you going to answer those 4 questions in this coming year? Because after all, it's the only to-do list that matters. Shana Tova.
At this point, we're going to call up our incredible shofar blower, Mitch Dorff. And Max. Max is here too. Oh, we get a double. We're going to have you guys go on the stage. But we've entered the Malchuyot section of our shofar service, which you can find the blessings on page 206. And the idea of kingship or sovereignty can be really uncomfortable for people, the idea that Jews have a king. And so I encourage you, as you listen to the sounds of the shofar, there's an acronym that you can use for melech. The mem stands for mochim, which is your body. The lamed stands for lev, which is your heart. And then the kuf stands for kishkas, your guts. So basically, the idea that in order to have sovereignty, that we have to let all of ourselves give up the idea that we can control our surroundings. The only thing that we control in life is ourselves. The rest is up to God, the divine, however it is that you want to imagine. So in order to make yourself a little bit more comfortable with the idea of malchuyot and kingship, I encourage you to think of it as a surrendering of yourself to just a higher power outside of yourself. And with that, we're going to do the blessings for the blowing of shofar on page 206.
Please rise.
Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmo kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. תקיעה שברים תרועה תקיעה תקיעה שברים תקיעה תקיעה תרועה תקיעה. 1, 2, 3. ארשת שפתנו ירב לפניך אל רב ונישא. ארשת שפתנו ירב לפניך אל רב ונישא. מי בינו מזי מה ביצו מקשיב לכל תקייתנו. ותקבל ברחמים ברחמים וברצון סדר מלכויותינו.
The next section, page 268, Zichrono, to memory. For this one, I want you to close your eyes for the blowing of the shofar, and I want you to be taken back to a memory that enlivens you, that will strengthen you in this coming year.
Baruch atah Adonai, zocher haberit. Tekiah, shvarim teruah. Tekiah, Tekiah, shvarim. Tekiah, Tekiah, teruah. Tekiah. 1, 2, 3. Areshet sefatenu yerab lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Areshet sefatenu yerab lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Meivinu masi mavitu masi blekol tekiyatenu. Utkabel berachamim berachamim uberatzon seder zichronotenu.
The last section, page 284, Shofarot, is about the future. It's about waking up. This is the siren call. What are you waking up to this year? How are you going to wake up in your own life, in the life of your family, the life of this larger community in the world? How are you going to call out?
Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol torat amo Yisrael, berachamim. Tekiah, shvarim teruah. Tekiah, Tekiah, shvarim. Tekiah, Tekiah, teruah. Tekiah gedolah. One, two, three. Areshet sefatenu yerab lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Areshet sefatenu yerab lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Meivinu ma'asin mavitu ma'ashiv lekol tekiyatenu. Utkabel berachamim berachamim uratzot seder.
Thank you again to Mitch and Max Dorf. There's an article about them in the Jewish Journal. They're famous now. You should read that. We're going to continue. We remain standing for Aleinu, page 286.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא
may be seated. Just a couple of announcements before we conclude with Mourner's Kaddish. When you leave, you'll see that there are little packages of apples and bit of honey around the temple, so make sure you can pick one of those up. Just so you know, the bit of honey does contain nuts, so if you'd have a nut allergy, you just get apple, no honey for you. Tomorrow, if you want to join us for second day Rosh Hashanah, we'll be at Irmis campus at 10 o'clock. Rabbi Nanis will be leading that. If you did not get your ticket scanned when you came in, I promise we're not going to spam you, as I mentioned before. Cantor, Peicott, and I are starting this Koleinu service once a month. So actually, if you still have the energy this Friday, that's our kickoff Shabbat Koleinu. We're going to be doing it once a month at this campus. Starting from 6:30 to 7, we're doing a pre-oneg with a whole spread from clementines with different cheeses and wine and drinks and other food, and then the service, and then afterwards, not your typical oneg cookies and some coffee. And so this is your chance to experience this band. We're going to be doing it the first Friday of the month on this campus. Paddleboarding and prayer on this next Sunday. In between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, instead of just the traditional throwing some bread in the ocean, this is a time where we are off balance, so to speak, as we're trying to find our way in the new year. You can join me next Sunday morning. We are going to meet at 9:30 in Malibu. You can sign up online under holydays.wbtla.org. We're going to meet. We're going to paddle out past the pier. We're going to circle up. There are already like 20 people signed up, so you might as well join the fun. We're going to circle up. We're going to do a morning service out there on our boards, sitting on our boards, and bring in the new year and basically toss away our old habits, and then we're just going to paddle around Malibu. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees. It's going to be a perfect day. Even if you've never paddleboarded before, I've had people come out and just be on their knees the whole time. It's okay, whatever level you're at. But I really recommend you try it. A lot of what we're doing, both with this service and at this synagogue, is trying to go beyond what traditionally we understand as Jewish experiences to help you realize that you can access Judaism in all kinds of ways, in ways that you wouldn't have even imagined, like paddleboarding. So you can join us for that. Koleinu, we will be back here. Thank you all for being here, first of all. It's beautiful for us to look out and see all of your faces, and thank you for supporting this service. We're going to be back together on Kol Nidre. The lights will be a little lower. We'll have a more contemplative Kol Nidre service at 7:30 p.m. on Kol Nidre in this room. And then on Yom Kippur Day at 10:30, again in this room, with Cantor Peicott and Rabbi David Eshel, and Rabbi Bo Shapiro will be in here because I'll be in the other room. And I think that's it. Do you want any thank yous or anything?
Yes,
you want to say?
special thanks to our Torah readers, Thomas Schneider, Pini Rahav, Alicia Pedowitz, our Haftorah readers, Michelle and Gavin Vogel. A special thank you, I think they left, but to Mitch and Max Dorf for their incredible shofar blowing, and our incredible band. We have Adam Yaron on piano, Jason Meshes on guitar, Sam Webster percussion, Lily Akud on melodica and the 5 other instruments she brought with her, Avi Bialo on trumpet, and Jenny Asher on violin. So thank you so much for making this an incredible prayer experience.
We turn now to page 292 for Mourner's Kaddish. In a minute, we're going to rise. We just want to share the names of those who passed away this past month in our community. Beverly Cooperman, Larry Gershman, Margaret Guzman, Dawn Murr, Irene Palikoff, Rita Painus, and Judy Talman. At this time, if you have a name that you want to share, whether it's their yard site or you're just thinking about them today and you want to share their name out loud, if you could stand up right now. And then as my hand goes across the room, we can hear the names of those people whom you're thinking of, especially today. think of all of those. We think of everyone else in our lives who we're missing today. We ask, please rise as we join together. Yitkaral v'yikarash meraba, be'alma divra chirute ve'amlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We conclude our service with the words of Oseh Shalom. We put our arms around one another.
Bless you all. We wish you a year of peace and happiness and health. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine on you and comfort you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God always turn to you and bring you peace.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel,
Shana Tova.
Koyos vete